okay? So, 3 years ago, I was walking through Dawn Farms parking lot, and I slipped on some ice, and I separated my left kneecap, and I injured my bone, right? It was very clear cut. They x-rayed it. They went, oh my God. And it was a very, very clear-cut defect. My leg swelled up. I ultimately had to have surgery. It was a fairly clear-cut thing. It healed. I'm better. That's an acute model, all right? A little more complicated, diabetes. Now, there are different kinds of diabetes, and they're all centered in the pancreas, but they're not the same thing. But we know that that's where diabetes happens. We know that it's some kind of a defect, and like I say, they're different. Type 1 and type 2 are pretty radically different. But they have measurable symptoms. There's a pretty clear-cut protocol for how we treat it, okay? All right, and then we get to alcoholism. Not quite so simple. Is it a brain disease or is it a liver disease? Well, I'll share a little bit about addiction as a brain disease, but I'll give you two good examples of how it's a liver disease. I have a good friend who never got a drunk driving ticket, never got a write-up at work, and when she was ultimately picked up intoxicated in her hometown and taken to the hospital, they drew blood on her, and her blood alcohol level was 0.575. And up until recently, she held the local record for the highest blood alcohol level of someone who actually lived. Now, 0.08 is legally drunk if you're behind the wheel of a car. 0.4 is generally considered to be the death threshold. And this was an hour after they picked her up. Her blood alcohol was 0.575, so you assume she hadn't drank in a while, and her blood alcohol was probably well over 0.6. We kid her that she hasn't gotten as many promotions since she got sober as she did when she drank, right? Her liver is not like a normal person's liver. There's a physician I know who, when he was ultimately arrested, he was arrested for obtaining drugs with intent to deliver. Now, he wasn't delivering them, but he was charged that way because they went to the state police toxicology lab, and they said, is it possible for a person to do in excess of 120 Percocets a day and practice medicine? And the toxicology lab wisely said, no, it's physically impossible. The Tylenol alone would be enough to kill the person, right? And of course, the last month he used, he cashed